Hi, welcome to Killer Hope and Sundance 2011.
I'm Christine Vachon,
And I'm Ted Hope.
and today we're with Brit Marling, who is here with two movies, Another Earth and The Sound of My Voice.
Yep.
The co-writer, co-producer, and co-star of all three.
I think the star, not the co-star. I think the star.
It doesn't sound as good.
The co applied to everything seems more in the spirit of tribal filmmaking, I think.
But it's wild. I don't think I've ever heard of anyone coming here with that multi-hyphenate, attack.
And on two movies.
Yeah, I think it all came out of necessity, really. I was in LA and I was acting, and I found that the parts for a young girl were often sort of it was stereotypical horror film. I felt like if I was going to keep acting, I would have to teach myself to write in order to do the kind of work I wanted to do, at least in the beginning.
So you weren't willing to just sit and wait and fall.
I just
into
wanted,
it.
I guess, yeah, and I guess when you decide to be an actor, I think people say, oh, there's a certain swamp you're going to have to wade through in order to just begin working. And I thought, if I wade through this swamp, I'm going to be a different person on the other side. Like, I don't know that I want to do that. So I thought, well, maybe I can build myself some sort of raft to get across. And Zal and Mike and I all met at Georgetown. Zal directed Sound of My Voice, and Mike directed Another Earth. And
So you guys are a collaborative trio.
Yeah. We started making short films at Georgetown. I think, I don't think we ever thought we'd be making movies later the way we did then. It was all very illegal. We would sneak into the National Gallery. We had a short where the girl is an artist. And so we snuck into the National Gallery, and Mike had a backpack with rollerblades and the camera, and we'd written this story, and we had this photo work, which we waited until the guard left the room and then just tacked it on the wall in the National Gallery.
You pulled a Banksy.
Basically, and then I was the actor and everything because there weren't any other actors around, and
Who are
I walked
committed enough to commit a public crime to get the movie made.
Yeah, basically.
So tell us a little bit about both movies.
Sound of My Voice is the story of a couple that infiltrates a cult that meets in the basement of a house in the San Fernando Valley, and they're hiding this woman who lives in the basement of this house. And the cult members are ferried there blindfolded and bound in a van, so nobody knows where this house actually is. And they're protecting this woman and this secret sort of who she is. And I won't tell you what the secret is because it'd be more fun to watch the movie. But I play the cult leader, and that was a lot of fun because I'm not often cruel in my daily life.
You wrote the part for yourself.
Yeah, Zal and I wrote that project together.
So you wanted to be cruel.
I think so. I think there are things that I wanted to do that I don't find space for in my life, and it's nice to actually. When Mike saw that film, of course, we've all known each other such a long time, and he came on set one day, and he turned to Zal after this particularly intense take and was like, "I've known that girl for 8 years. I had no idea she had that capacity for cruelty in her." So it's nice to surprise yourself, I think.
And the other one is a science fiction cosmic freak out of.
Oh my God, it is a freak out. It's so many things in one. It's a story of a young girl and a man whose lives intersect when this tragic accident happens and sort of binds them together. It's that accident happens the night of the discovery of a parallel universe, this other Earth.
I had a chance to work with William McPower on In the Bedroom.
Oh yeah.
And he's a great actor.
Oh my gosh, he's amazing. And he was so patient with me. I mean, I had only done a short really as an actor before this. I'd done theater in high school, but he was really, so enthusiastic, the enthusiasm that children have, just raw, pure, threw himself into doing this and taught me so much about acting and about acting on camera. And I think that's one of the cool things about this festival. I was just doing an actors panel, and two of the other actresses had only been in shorts, a short or two prior to doing this work, and I thought that's very cool that these people are that Sundance makes a point of exploring these caves, these little places all over the world where artists are making work, and they find people and bring them out and share what weird stuff they've been doing in their caves.
Well, this is your first Sundance, and you're here with two movies. Yeah. So what's it like? Is it just has the festival experience itself been amazing, like a roller coaster, or?
Yeah, the films haven't screened yet. That happens
Oh, boy.
Monday, so I don't know what that's going to be like when
So both on Monday.
both on Monday, when you've been like making this work in a vacuum for so long, and then suddenly it meets up with strangers in the world. I'm so curious what that will be like. But I do know for the time that I've been here, Zal and I drove here together from LA, and we drove straight through the night, and it was very
Nice.
beautiful. And we arrived, and we showed up at the New Frontier thing, and there was this work by a filmmaker, I think Mark Boulos, and it was this incredible installation piece where he had filmed Nigerian freedom fighters sort of fighting against Shell Oil, and on the other side, the New York Stock Exchange. And this juxtaposition of images was amazing, and it was so cool to
Welcome to
arrive
Park
here.
City.
Yeah, and see and find, discover these artists who are thinking or feeling similar things to you. That's
But you never, I can't imagine you had the expectation. You make 2 films with your friends from college, and then next thing, you're in Sundance. That,
it's
what
still
was
totally
that?
blows my mind. It blows my mind because these movies they're so handmade. Like, I mean, the best way I can think of to describe it is on Another Earth, there's a shot where the character Rhoda is released from prison. And we can't afford even a prison costume, let alone a guard or, to a location.
Right.
So Mike and I just drove around in his mom's car, and we found a prison where you could get close enough to the front. And he sat in the driver's seat with the camera, the window down, and I walked across the street in costume with a yoga mat, and I walked into the prison, and I was like, "Hi, I'm here to teach yoga," as if like I do this all the time there. And they were like, "Oh, okay, hold on, come in." And so I came to the prison, and I kind of signed in, and then I was like, I forgot something in the car, critical. I dropped the yoga mat, I turned around and walked out, and Mike filmed it from across the street, like in the driver's seat of the car as I like walk out of the prison. And that's like the release from prison shot that's in the movie. So
That's great.
When you're making a movie that way, I don't think with stories that are so kind of high concept and epic, but so small, I don't think we ever imagined in our wildest dreams that they would like be able to enter the world this way.
What's the next step? Like, what's your plan to try to get the film seen by a wider audience? Do you plan
that's
to?
a
Do you
really
guys use Facebook and Twitter and other social media to try to build an audience? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm really curious to see what will happen. Sound of My Voice was something that actually, Zal and I had always been really interested in the idea of creating a story for the web, doing something where in the DNA of the storytelling, you're thinking about a web audience. Like, I think one of the reasons why that hasn't worked so far is that people do like TV light or film light and then try to put it, but those experiences are so different. I mean, when you go into a theater setting, you've driven to the theater, you've parked your car, you've paid $14, you're in the dark, you're like captive to this experience. It's got to be really bad for you to leave. But if you have something that you're watching on your laptop, there's a million distractions.
So what's in the DNA of the story that you think makes it appropriate for the web?
I think that in Sound of My Voice, at least, which we had thought, I mean, I think it would be amazing if that film has a theatrical release. I think it works in that setting as well. But I think we also thought, well, it could be really cool if this comes out online and you can watch this on your laptop. And I think we constructed this story in a way that like there's a lot of mystery. It's like action, 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 reveal, action, 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 reveal. And you keep you're like luring the audience in. You're making them want to, if at any moment they had to choose to keep going rather than they would click to watch more. So something about your viewer on the web is they're more in control. So if you have to write something that would make them at every stage want to keep watching and
Show them the respect.
yeah.
Engage with them as equals.
But so
Totally.
you have this movie here, and the idea is that you will sell it to a distributor who will distribute it that way, or are you guys planning on taking it out yourselves?
Well, I think that's the cool thing, is it doesn't really matter. I mean, it does. I mean, it would be awesome. It would be awesome if, some,
Fox Searchlight, Focus Films.
they're like, here's a bunch of money that we'd love to put into P&A. We'd like to splash this. I mean, that'd be amazing. But in the event that didn't happen, I think we've created something where we're totally in control and can release it into the world on our own. Like, knowing that we've written something that has been constructed to be disseminated that way, and that people will find through. One of the things that's amazing about the internet and like coming to stuff, whether it's on iTunes or on a blog or whatever, is that it's a total democracy. I mean, if something is good, like Obama is good, and so when he was campaigning and it was all over the internet, it's like it went out because it was amazing. The same happens with, I think, music. That's really, the content has to be great, and so that when we were making that project, we thought, okay, we just have to make something that in the democratic platform of the web,
right,
people would recognize as this is really outstanding material, not outstanding material for the web, just like outstanding material, period. And that would then, if it arrived in your inbox and you watched it, or it was on your Twitter and you got a link to it, or however you come to it, you would want to be like, send it to 10 of your friends and be like,
be part of the team.
Yeah,
right.
Be like, this is unlike anything I've ever seen.
But I think that's really the game changer of now, in some ways, that here you have your team together, you guys are self-sufficient. Like, if good fortune comes your way, wonderful. But if it doesn't, nothing's going to stop you from getting your movie out and getting your next film made, because you've done it before, you know you can do it, and you can do it again and again and again.
It's so true, and that seems so, when you're saying that, it seems like, of course, why wouldn't you feel that way? But it's hard to come to that. I mean, I think when we first started making these works in LA and we were trying to find financing, and you feel like you need someone to give you permission on some level.
Right, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
And you're waiting for them to be like, this is a great script, here's money, this is...
So now you're allowed to distribute it.
Now you don't have to wait for anybody's permission to do anything. You just like pick a start date, and whoever wants to get on board that train, great. If you don't, like, see you at the next station. Like, you just...
But it really is a change. Like, when we first started coming, that what you could just say, well, I'm going to make my movie, damn it. I don't care if nobody supports me in that process. I can get it made. I've learned how to make something really cheap. But you still were praying that somebody would come aboard and say, well, we'll put this out to the world.
Yeah.
You're now in the position, the driver's seat, where you don't even need anybody to say that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much
Thanks
for
for
joining
having me.
us.
It's so nice to talk about it.
Brit Marling, the co-writer, star, and co-producer.
And good luck with the movies on Monday.
Thank you so much. I'm
All right.
very curious to see what
I can't wait to see him.
I'll be happy for you guys to see them.